textbooks, you'll find that Appalachia is a region that extends from northern areas of Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia, all the way as far north as New York. People of Appalachia, though, tend to actually define it not by its geography, but by its culture. While most people have a certain image that comes to mind when they picture Appalachia, what about the people? What about the culture that makes Appalachia unique? That's where things can get a bit complicated. Decided to reach out to a number of people in Appalachia that come from different generations, but for the most part have lived here their entire lives, and get their take on what it means to be an Appalachian.
I was actually born in the original Bristol, Tennessee hospital. So I grew up in Bristol, Virginia for my whole life.
I was born in Kentucky.
Okay.
Mom and Dad moved. Mom was from here and her family moved to Kentucky, lived for a while. Then they came back here. Mom and Dad was married and they came back with them. I was 2 years old.
And you lived here ever since?
Lived here ever since. Except we lived in Pennsylvania for a few years after me and Russell got married. And then we brought the kids and come back home.
80 years.
Yeah, born here and left here when I was 16.
And then
Father moved us to Pennsylvania.
you moved back.
And I moved back, 25 years ago. Yes.
Talking to each person, I first wanted to get a feel for what it means to be an Appalachian.
I think what makes it unique is the amount of generational influence, I think, as far as carrying on tradition and values and morals and things that were passed on from previous generations that they kind of hold dear. Because I know as far as like in my family, there's a large, I guess, influence on like certain like morals or like even like how you're raised, just it is how things are, and that's because it always has been that way. And a lot of that, like you take somebody from outside the area, they're like, oh, they have similar things, but they're like, I don't know, my family's kind of open to whatever. Whereas here, I think the family is so tight knit, and there's a whole lot of like tradition built into families that they tend to want to pass things on and keep it within the family. And as far as expanding that into culture, I think it kind of helps to keep the culture of this area preserved, because a lot of people, they live, they're born here, they live, work, whatever here through the majority of their life, and even if they move away, a lot of times they'll return.
What's that culture like?
Well, for one thing, we still hold to the old ways. A lot of people do hold to the old ways. So at least the values and culture that we grew up with. Trusting people. With a good handshake, you didn't have to sign your name or nothing on the paper. If you shook hands with somebody, they were as good as their word.
Oh, I know they're different. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know how to advertise, how to explain it. I don't know. Mostly, we done farming mostly. Well, we had schools that just one one room, just teach 7 or 8 grades in it.
What makes them different? Speech is one thing. I like the culture as far as music. I like the old-fashioned bluegrass music, bluegrass music in general. And there's a lot of excellent musicians in these hills.
Yes.
Yes.
With a baseline understanding of what Appalachian culture is, the next thing I wanted to find out is, has it changed?
Oh my goodness sakes. Everything's changed in my lifetime for 80 years, I believe, and mostly right here. Nowadays, we used to go to bed and then lock our doors or anything. You wouldn't dare go to bed nowadays and not lock your doors. That's one of the things. It's just not the same. Not the same as it was when we grew up. Television is ruining kids and video games. Kids don't get out and play like we did. We were outside playing when we grew up. Kids sits in front of a video game nowadays. That's one of the things. I think it's really changed kids, and that's changed everything.
Gotcha.
This place has changed a lot since when I was growing up. We didn't have like television. We had a radio, that's about it.
Some of the old culture is still there, and it is here today, and more so with some people than others. They don't say you all like they used to. They say you'ns now. They're speaking that way. Diet, when I say some families, they're improving their diet, others are not, and it's showing in the health. And this area, if you notice, cancer is one of the highest in the nation in these fields.
Yes.
You know, not good.
It's for the better. But, like, I think too many kids spend too much time on the internet. They should be outside more, getting fresh air, exercise. And spend more time with each other instead of just having their face down to the internet.
You know, I think that's going to change anyway soon.
I mean, I'm not against the internet, it's a good thing, but there's pros and cons about it.
Now I'm left to wonder, where does this leave me? Where does this leave anybody? On one hand, I'm grateful that my children will have the cultural opportunities that are introduced to the area by things like television and the internet and other cultures moving into Appalachia. And on the other, I'm appreciative for what Appalachia is at its roots. A closely family-oriented culture that appreciates nature and the great outdoors. Anyways,
You gonna put that on Facebook?
I don't know what settings are changing. Hopefully it's nothing too major.